All right. Just waiting for 5 o'clock. It's five already. I'm looking at the wrong time. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you are here. Come on in. It is time for Manifest Monday. Come on in. How you doing, Juan? Come on in, everybody. We are going to start in a few minutes. I pray that everybody had an awesome Manifest Monday. I pray that your day was a blessed one. I pray that everything concerning you on this day was yea and amen. I pray that everything that God has for you is for you and that you're walking in your best life now. So I just pray that you just have a good old time in the Lord, and I pray that you come. Hello, Thelma. So nice to have you watching. Those that are watching, I thank you for watching. I'll be starting in a moment. Come on in. Please share this with somebody. I have it on multiple streams. I have it on my personal Facebook page, PLF Ministries. I also have it on the church website as well as I have it on YouTube. Hello, Pastor Bettina. All right, well, I'm glad to know that you're doing great. Greetings, Pastor Bettina. So good to see you, daughter. I'm glad to have everyone on. Give a few more minutes to get everybody started. Before I get started, rather, I'm just excited about what God is doing in this season and what He's continuing to do. Hello, Tammy, in our lives. God is so good to us. And in our church, where I preach the most, we are talking about faith as we lead up to the celebration of our Christmas service on the 22nd. And God just put it upon my heart to talk about faith. And today I want to talk about not necessarily faith in the sense of the way I talked about it on Sunday, but it's going to take faith to do what I'm about to talk to you, what I'm going to rather talk to you about on tonight. So without that being further ado, it is now 5:02. So I'm going to get started because I don't want to waste your time, and I know your time is valuable. So on tonight, I want to talk to you about 8 steps to dreaming bigger dreams. 8 steps to dreaming bigger dreams. It was Harriet Tubman who wrote and said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and to change the world." John Maxwell, who's a great writer about leadership, said this, and he said, "A great leader's courage to fulfill his visions come from passion, not position." And you notice up in Harriet Tubman, she said the great strength, patience, and passion. John Maxwell says that a great leader courage to fulfill his visions come from passion, not position. A lot of time people think that because you have a position that's going to cause you to have great dreams or fulfill big dreams. But it's not your position that causes it to happen. It is your passion that causes it to happen. So on tonight, I want to talk to you about 8 steps to dreaming bigger dreams. Dream is defined by Webster Dictionary as a series of visions or thoughts that are created by your own imagination. It is something that you have wanted very much to do or be or have longed for a long time. So it's visions or thoughts that are created by your imagination. It's something that you wanted to do or wanted to be or have longed for a long time. Start by envisioning something that your mind goes tilt. Take all the fears out of it and just go for it. Let your mind dream dreams like a little child. For example, if you want to change careers, don't think about changing jobs. How about thinking about owning your own company? If you want to change lives and you're an inventor, get a patent. Additionally, if fear was not a factor, how much further would you really go? If you didn't have this fear of doing stuff, then how much further would you really go? And eliminate that fear, cast it aside. When thoughts come to steal your focus, it's hard, but like anything else, by practicing it, you will slay the dragon of fear. Allow your vision and your thoughts to be bigger than your doubts. I'm going to say that again. Allow your visions and your thoughts to be bigger than any doubts that you may have. Great things come from small beginnings when God is in them. Great things come from small beginnings when God is in them. But you need to start with a dream. If you're struggling to discover God's dream for your ministry, for your life, for your business, for your purpose, here's steps I want to talk to you about. 8. These are not all inclusive, but these are the 8 that I want to talk to you about tonight. First one I want to talk to you about is this: open your mind to God. And that is the principle of inspiration. Open your mind to God, and that is the principle of inspiration. God's perspective is what makes your dream different from normal secular goal setting. Proverbs 28:26 says it this way: a man is a fool to trust himself, but those who use God's wisdoms are safe. That's the Living Bible. That's why your dream should begin by getting God's perspective on your life. Schedule some time to sit down, get quiet, and ask God, what is your will? I'm going to say that again. Sit down, get to a quiet place, and ask God, what is your will, God? What is your will for my life? I don't want to just aimlessly do things and it's not your will. I don't want to just go through life doing unnecessary things that are not going to fulfill the purpose or the will that you have for my life. So I'm going to ask God. Who better to ask you? So open your mind to God. That's the principle of inspiration. Get inspired by God telling you what the will is for your life. Number 2, do some research. That's the principle of information. When I was, one of my degrees is in business management and business administration. And I used to talk to people who are getting ready to open up business, especially here in 29 Palms. You know, they want to open up a beauty shop or they want to open up a restaurant or whatever. And one of the things that I learned in business and even in marketing, and as it relates to opening businesses, if you're going to open up a business, now, unless your business is unique and there's none other around, then you pretty much you got the floor market for that business. But if you're going to open up, let's just say you're going to open up another hair salon, and there's 20 hair salons in the place you're talking about opening up one. What is going to make your hair salon different that people are going to go to yours? They're going to drive by 19 other ones to come to yours. You have to think about what is it that I'm going to offer people that none of the other 20 can do, whether it's customer service, whether it's a great conditioning, whether it's great hair wash, whether it's great hair, whatever it is you're doing, then you need to be able to show that what I'm doing is going to be, no one else is going to be able to do it. And the other thing that we need to do, I teach people about business, is keep it simple. If you know, like In-N-Out Burger, you don't go in there and ask for a whole lot of different things. They got a simple menu. They keep it simple. Now, do they have things that they don't put on the menu? Yes, but you have to ask for those. You have to inquire about those. But when you come in an In-N-Out Burger, you look at it, it's simple. You keep it simple. And what happens with a lot of people, they try to do too much, and they get caught up in all the confusion of trying to do too much, and then effectively not being good at anything. Find out what the thing you're good at doing and stick to that. There's some people that are great at braiding hairs. They wouldn't do good at doing perms or conditionings and all. They're good at braiding. So that's what they do. There's money in it. They can make it. Okay, but if you're going to braid hair, what's going to make you braiding hair be better than anyone else braiding hair? You got to have something that's going to so you got to have that inspiration, and you got to have principle of information. Read books or listen to podcasts about, for example, the ministry you're dreaming of starting, or the business you're about to start, or the whatever you want to do. Attend some seminars, or often now you can do virtual seminars. I mean, a lot of the seminars that I attend are virtual. I don't go in person. I can watch them. I paid a virtual cost, and I watch them, and I can go back and watch them when I want to. So you need to make sure that you have information. I'm teaching on my other page on the servant leadership. Before I started that, I did a lot of research and got a lot of information so that I could present something to the people that would make it worth their while and the money that they were investing to do this. So we need to have inspiration, and then you need to look at information. The third thing is start asking for advice, and that's the principle of consultation. So information, Inspiration, information, and consultation. Talk to someone who has already taken the risk and chosen a similar dream. Talk to somebody that's already doing what you're doing. Find out how they did what they're doing. How are they successful? Talk to the ones that are successful. Ask them, how did you do what you're doing? Proverbs 24:6 says, if you have lots of good advice, you'll win. That's from the New Century Version. If you have lots of advice, good advice, not just advice, but good advice, you'll win. It is wise to learn from experience. It's even wiser to learn from the experience of others. You can learn from experience. There's no doubt you learn from experience, but it's even wiser to learn from the experience of others so I don't have to make the mistakes I made in my learning of my experience. So I need to learn from others. None of us have enough time to make all the mistakes in life. So learn from others' mistakes. Why should I go out and make the same mistakes somebody else has already done and I can learn from the mistakes they've made? So I need to make sure that I have inspiration, information, and consultation. So at this point, I ask myself, who else can help me? Whatever you find, whenever, you find that person, ask them these questions. What things have worked the best for you? We're talking about dreaming big. How have you tried and failed? What would you do differently today if you had another chance? Too often we're struggling to achieve our dreams. We choose to fake it rather than to ask for help. We're so prideful sometimes. We choose to fake it rather than ask for help. We fear that others will think that we don't know what we're doing, but without the right advice, you're going to appear to be foolish anyway. That's why the best thing to do is to humble yourself and ask for advice. So I need inspiration, I need information, I need consultation. And number four, I need to establish some priorities. And that's the principle of selection. You need to take time. You need to tackle your dreams in a logical order. You need to prioritize what needs to get done as you chase your dreams. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 17:24 in the New Living Translation, it says, sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, but a foolish eye wanders to the ends of the earth. Ask yourself this: what is my target? You don't have to think, you don't have time, to think, to do everything. The secret to success, is selecting the right priorities. So I know what I'm about. I know I want to start a business. And I know that business is going to be, let's say, hair, doing hair. All right. I need to find people who are doing what I want to do. And then I need to set my priorities and selection of how I'm going about achieving this building. Do I have a beautician license? Am I licensed to do what it is I want to do? Do I have a building to do what I want to do it in? Is that building approved by the city for me to do what I want to do it in? All right. What products am I going to need to do what I need to do when I get the building? How am I going to advertise my business so that people will know that I'm out there? So you have to prioritize these things. And I think the problem with a lot of people that messes them up when they start doing business is they don't understand the priorities, even with dreams. I know I'm talking about business, and some of you may think that, wow, this has nothing to do, this is not spiritual, but it can apply to anything that you're trying to do in your life. Everybody should have a dream. Everybody should have a dream. I had a dream. When I started out as a young man in Houston, Texas, my dream was not to become a pastor. I thought I was going to be in law enforcement, or I was going to be a doctor, or I was going to work at the airlines. That was my thoughts and my dreams. But as life worked its way through, I ended up where I am because that was where I was supposed to be. But I look back over my life and all the things that I had done, and even in a young age, being in Army ROTC, being leaders, I was always driven to where I am right now because of the choices that I made. And when I became a pastor, I had to ask God. I said, okay, God, if this is your will for my life, tell me how I need to do this. And I even asked God, I was crazy enough to ask God for specifics. I said, okay, God, if you want me to do this, this is what I'm going to need from you in order for me to accomplish what it is you want me to accomplish. I'm going to need you. I told God, I want to have some people in place that I can work with for a year, and so that they can get my heart, the vision that you've given me, and then we can bring people in and integrate them into the system. And God was faithful in doing that. He brought people into the sanctuary church, and there's some of them are still here today, 17 years later. The majority of them that started with us are still here because I needed a foundation in order. So you got to have priority. I had to have a building. I had to have a 501c3. I had to have a vision. I had to have purpose. I had to have all these things, and I had to prioritize those things in order to be successful. And we need to know that we have to have those things, and it's absolutely worth it to have asked the questions of this question. Here's some questions you ask when you talk about principal evaluation. Evaluate the cost. That's number 5. I'm sorry. Evaluate the cost. That's number 5. Take a calculated risk. Proverbs 20:25 says this: don't trap yourself by making a rash promise to God and only later accounting the cost. When I told God that I was going to do what he called me to do, I knew there was going to be a cost involved, cost in time, cost in money, cost in effort, cost in everything, cost in me going from an introverted person to trying to be an extroverted person. But I knew there was going to be a cost. And as I chase my dream, and as you're going to chase your dream, you need to ask yourself, is it necessary? Can I reach my goal another way? When you're looking at how to go about it, is it necessary? What are you doing? Is it necessary what you're doing now? Or could you reach it another way? The other thing, what will it cost? Everything valuable in life will cost you something in time, energy, money, and reputation. I'm here to tell you that those things are true and they are necessary. They are true and true and true. Because one of the things I have learned is that this thing called pastoring, this thing called being a pastor of the church and leading people as God leads you is costing time, it's costing energy, it's costing money, and it costs reputation. What do you mean by reputation? Because people are going to look at you, and if you do one bad hair, you can do 20 good heads. I'm going to keep using the hair as an analogy. You can do 20 good heads, but you mess up one person, and that one person is going to talk about what you did, and then it's going to discredit all the 20 ones because one can talk to 10 will talk to another 10, and now your reputation. So you got to make sure that your reputation of character, integrity, and being good customer service is in place when you talk about your dreams, if that dream happens to be in the service industry. Number 6, plans for problems, the principle of preparation. Plan for problems. Never ignore a problem. Why? Because a problem won't ignore you. Never ignore a problem. Why? Because a problem will never ignore you. You will likely face problems as you set out your goal to reach your goals, but you can choose to meet these problems on your terms. See, the thing about problems is I can meet them, but I get to choose on what terms I meet them on. What happens with us is we allow problems to dictate how we're going to react. No, if I have a problem, okay, how am I going to solve the problem? Let's say, for instance, at the sanctuary church, there's a problem with parking, and we got a long line of people trying to get into. That's a problem, okay? But I'm not going to allow that to stress me out. Let's look at the plan. Let's see how we can fix it. Let's see how we can park better. Is that a better way to park? Is there some other area? Do we need to clear out some dirt on the land that we own and put gravel and have extra parking spaces? How do we go about the problem of turning in to the sanctuary? I know when we build our new edifice, that's one of the things we had to look at when people turn off of highway, off of Adobe Road into the sanctuary church. How do we keep the cars from being backed up? We got a flow system where people will drive, so therefore that there won't be that necessary flow of traffic backing up as people pull into the sanctuary. I'm talking about something that has not happened yet, but I know it's going to happen, but I have a solution for it before it happens. So we got to make sure that we understand that problems, we can't ignore them, because you will likely face problems as you reach out your goals, but you have to choose to meet them on your own terms. The Bible says in Proverbs 27:12 in the Living Bible, it says, a sensible man watches for problems ahead and prepares to meet them. The simpleton never looks and suffers the consequences. So you got to start looking ahead. If you're going to do a business, or if you're going to in ministry, if you're going to start a ministry, or if you want to be in a ministry, if you want to make your ministry better, what you got to look ahead. If they give me the children's church, how I'm looking at children's church now, where we are right now, where I would like for it to go. What do I need to do in order to get that? I go talk to somebody who has successful children's churches. What are they doing that I can implement where I'm at? Because one thing we have to understand, that everything that somebody else is doing doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fit into your model. But there are things that they're doing that will be beneficial to you. So you take what they have that will help you. And that's one of the things I learned, even being a pastor out here in the desert. There's a lot of good advice. I got a lot of pastor friends with good advice, but they don't pastor in the desert. I have a lot of friends with good advice, but they don't pastor military community. So my audience of who actually understands what I'm doing, for those that I know, is slim and very limited. So I have to find people. So what I do is I look at what they're doing, maybe in a major city. Okay, that might work where they are, but what can I do to take what they're doing and downsize it to fit it into a model that'll work here in the desert? You have to be able to understand problems and start being a problem solver. Ask yourself, what can go wrong with this dream? When I was talking about starting a church, what could go wrong with it? It could fail. I could not find a building. Maybe I can't qualify for a 501(c)(3). There's a lot of things that could go wrong. But then I ask myself, what happened if it does? What happened if I don't find a building? A lot of people started in their house. Some people started in their garage. So ask another church, can you use that church at another time? There's always solutions to what you're looking at. So we have to make sure that we have to be sensible in how we go about doing things. Number 7, be willing to take risks and face your fears. That's the principle of confrontation. We must face our fears if we want to achieve our dreams. You cannot be afraid of failure, because failure is there. There are a lot of things that you can fail. There are some things that you may fail at, but don't let failure be your final destination. Learn what you did wrong, change it, and go on. Most inventors fail a lot of times before their invention came to light. Even right now, the light that is used to brighten up this room, the inventor of the light bulb had some failures, but he didn't stop. He kept going. So just because you have a failure doesn't mean you give up. It means you evaluate what you did. Fear isn't necessarily a sign of weakness. Now, we talk about fear all the time. We say, God has not given us a spirit of fear. I understand that. But a human emotion, a human action is fear. That's most of the time. And I'm not talking about that it's that we should walk in it, but I'm saying that is something that we operate in. So caution, however, is moving ahead despite what we fear. Courage, rather, not caution. Courage, rather, is moving ahead despite what I might be fearful of. Courage to start a church in a community where there was already like 30-something churches already. Why do they need another church? I kept asking God that. I was questioning God. I was an assistant pastor somewhere else. Why do we need another church? Why do we need a Spirit and Truth Worship Center church in 29? There's a lot of churches. I'm sure that they don't need another one, but I realize that what we're called to do and what God has called for us to do has nothing to do with anyone else. We're reaching people that no one else is reaching. We're doing things that no one else is doing because that's what we're called to do. So I had to understand, to have the courage to move forward in spite of what I may have feared of being failure. The safest place is doing the will of what God called you to do. When you do what God is calling you to do, it will build your confidence. The things that I've got confidence in and building is that I'm doing the will of the Father. And as I continue to do the will of the Father, He has showed me He has given me confidence to be more confident in what I'm doing. I'm not saying arrogant. I said confidence. And one thing I am confident of, I know what I'm called to do. I know what God is telling me to do. And I believe that there's no one can beat me doing what God called me to do. And other than that, and besides that, brother, no one can beat me being me. So I have confidence because I know I'm walking in the will of the Father. I'm doing what God has called me to do. And you can have that same confidence when you get in that quiet place that we talked about earlier. Ask God what His will is. And when you're walking in His will and He's walking with you, because he said he'd never leave you nor forsake you. When he's walking with you, you'll have that confidence. And as you go through things, it'll build your confidence to be stronger in him. Number 8, and the final thing that I want to talk to you about is do it now. The principle of initiation. At some point, you need to stop talking and start acting. Once you decide your dream is worth the risk, then go for it. One of the things I'm learning is that in this season that we're talking about, when we're talking about faith, a lot of people are sitting around waiting on God to do some things. Faith without works is dead. We need to get up and do some stuff. Quit waiting on God to do everything. You want him to wake you up. You want him to put your clothes on. You want him to drive your car. Hey, it says faith without works is dead. And it says the steps of a good man are ordered, meaning that I have to be moving in some direction in order for my steps to be ordered. So I need to understand that God is there to assist me, but I need to do some work. I got to put some work in it. I got to put some initiation in it. I got to start doing something. I got to stop just talking and start walking. I got to put some action to my words. I got to stop saying what I'm going to do and start doing it. Proverbs 16:3 says this: commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. I have a plan, God. You told me to start this church. I did plan. This is the plan. I want to put it before you. Is this the plan you want for me? Yes. Then God, I know if it's your plan, then you're going to help me walk out this plan. I'm going to do some stuff. And as I do it, you're going to tell me, okay, Bishop, that's right. Oh, no, don't do that. And you're going to surround me with people. Let me stop with this one. You need to make sure you have a core of people who support you, who believe in you, and who will help you to accomplish the dream that you're dreaming. You need people that are going to help you, support you to accomplish what you're dreaming. And you also need people that are willing to tell you, no, that's not a good idea. Yes, that's a good idea. No, I don't think you should do that, because you're not in this vacuum by yourself. You need to have people that was going to support you, that's going to help you, that's going to tell you right and wrong. Like even with us in the ministry, we have a board of directors. They're there to assist in making the right decisions for the sanctuary church. We have a benevolence committee. They're there to make the decisions to keep the prophetess May and I, or Pastor May and I, out of the decision-making process. Because as a pastor, my heart is always going to be to do what maybe God is not asking, going to be for the people. But sometimes the committee knows things and they make the decision based on a lot of things, based on whether or not the church can afford it, based on whether or not the people need to need more counseling on how to do their finances. And then you have someone that stands in the middle that balances everything out. But all of us need somebody. We have an operations team that works in the ministry, that they're to help with like events and all of those things, because I can't think of all of that stuff. If I try to think of all of it and had to do it all, the church will never grow beyond my reach. So there's other people that are reaching out. Remember that. Your vision will never grow beyond your reach. You need people that can reach beyond where you can reach. And I'll end it with this. Think of a trapeze artist. And this is so good. I want you to hear me. The trapeze artist has to let go of one bar in order to reach the next one. Without letting go of the first, the trapeze artist will simply swing back and forth to where he started, back to where he started, right? Did you hear that? The trapeze artist has to let go of one bar in order to grab the next bar. Because if he doesn't let go of this bar, he can't and doesn't grab the next bar, then he'll just swing back to where he came from. So in order for you to move forward in your vision, you need to swing out on the bar, grab the bar of forward movement, a bar of courage to move forward into what God is calling you to do, and watch you get to the other side as God helps you. You need to come to the point in your life when you're courageously reaching for the dream God has called you to, despite your fears. You need to courageously come to the point in your life to reach for the dream God has called you for, despite your fears. So, wrapping it up, let's talk about what they are. Number 1, open your mind to God, the principle of inspiration. Do some research, the principle of information. Establish some priorities, the principle of selection. Evaluate the cost, the principle of evaluation. Did I miss consultation? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Let me go back because I missed one. All right. So we got open your mind, the pure principle of inspiration, do some research, the principle of information, start asking for advice, the principle. I thank you, Daisy. I know you would always have it up there for me. I appreciate you so very much. And thank you so very much for always being on and being a faithful person to listen and to write out and to help me out. Because once again, there you go. I need that's help while I'm still trying to go back and read. It's right there on the screen for those that are on StreamYard. It's right there. Open your mind to God, inspiration, do some research, information, start asking advice, consultation, establish some priorities, selection, evaluation, preparation. All of this right there on there is already written. So at the bottom, at the end of all of this is already time. My time is up, and I don't want to go beyond. I want you to understand that you need to dream big. I'm telling you that I truly believe, and I talk to people I preach the most. I told them that 2022 was going to be the year of unlimited opportunities and unlimited possibilities. And I also told them that it was going to be a reset, that we're going to have to do some resetting things. But I'm telling you that if you stay focused on God and you stay fixed on what He's called you to do, I'm telling you that 2022 is going to be your year of doing everything. Now, I'm going to say this because I just told you it's going to be a great year, but I want you to also know that there will also be some tests and trials, but you will overcome them all. But the opportunities that are for you in 2022 are greater than any trials, tests, or tribulations you may go through in that year. Things are going to continue. We already got another a variant. We thought we were dealing with the one. We got another one. It's going to keep on going. I hate to say it, but I don't believe, and this is me. I have no medical experience but I don't believe that this COVID thing is going to go away. It's just going to keep on like the flu. We had influenza A, now we got influenza B. It's just going to be, but we are going to have to believe God to take us through all of this, despite of what's going on. We cannot walk in fear. We cannot be afraid. And we got to walk out and we got to continue to dream big. Don't let COVID-19 stop you from dreaming. Don't let a mask stop you from dreaming. Don't let whether you take a shot or don't take a shot stop you from dreaming. Dream big and know that God is with you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have a blessed rest of this Manifest Monday, whether it's afternoon, evening, or late evening where you are. Love you, and be blessed.